Welcome back to another video here on the Washington Football Maniacs channel. And this channel is dedicated to the Washington Commanders. If you're down with that, please make sure you have subscribed to the channel. When you do, also make sure that you have hit that notification bell so you will not miss out on any videos that the Maniacs release. I'm here with my co-host and buddy, Brandon Scott. This video is going to be about our options at quarterback. Now we're going to have about maybe 3, maybe 4 options to turn to as far as what are we going to do next year. And we kind of discussed this before the video. And Brandon, of course, you know, both you and I, all throughout the season, we really like Sam Howell, and I still like Sam Howell. I don't think he's so far gone at this point that you can't fix him. But I think that right now, as far as saying that he's the man, that he's the future, he still could be the future, but I think his time is not ready yet because we've got other things that we need to fix. And so I would probably say that Sam is still a guy that you can develop into a fine quarterback. He's showed tendencies. He showed that he can make plays. And it pained me. You know, I was a very staunch supporter when everybody else was jumping off the bandwagon. And then, honestly, after, you know, that a couple of games there where he got benched, I was like, yeah, okay, I'm going to have to take a step back. And then, of course, our game yesterday against the 49ers, he actually, I thought, played pretty well throughout the entire game up until he threw those 2 picks. And I think at that point he kind of started pressing a little bit, and just things kind of, you know, fell soured, whatever you want to call it. But Brandon, we got some options, so I'm going to ask you what. All right, here are the options that I think we discussed. Okay, the first option is we go out in free agency and we get a quarterback, a good veteran, solid quarterback who's going to come in and show Sam Howell the ropes. You know, kind of be that stopgap quarterback, but one that can actually possibly lead this team to several wins. Who knows, maybe even get back into the playoffs a little bit sooner than we think. We're going to have options out there. Of course, you know, you mentioned Russell Wilson. I know a lot of people are like, no. He's a Virginia native, so he's got ties back to the area. I love Russell Wilson. You know, I was doing videos on Russell Wilson back a couple of years ago, maybe even last year, talking about he should come to Washington. I was really hoping he would, but then that mega contract, no, I guess it was last year because he was with the Broncos for a couple of seasons. So it was at least a couple of years back. You know, I was really campaigning for Russell Wilson to come to Washington. I think he's a real possibility. You know, another possibility that no one has talked about, Kirk Cousins. Could he come home? Because, you know, I mean, he may be at the end of his rope in Minnesota. A lot of fans do like him in Minnesota. And he is really taken to being a part of the Vikings organization. So I don't know if he would be willing to leave or not, but he could be a possibility as well. But so that's one. That's one option, certainly, is veteran quarterback. Of course, the other option is drafting a quarterback in this year's draft. One of those guys like that. You know, we talked about Caleb Williams, Drake May, maybe Bo Nix, was Jaden Daniels. There's a lot. Penix, I mean, we've got a lot of quarterbacks who could be in the draft this year. So there's some options, even if it's not a first-round option. And we've also got the idea of, you know, maybe we go ahead and we draft that offensive lineman, that tackle that we need, and we get quarterback later on. And again, that kind of ties into what we said as far as drafting. But so, Brandon, you're the general manager, you're the GM, and you're telling Josh Harris this is the best way to go. Which way are you going to go with this?
Ooh, intriguing. Many options. And I think that's a good thing about this team, man, going forward, is that we have options. If I'm the general manager and I'm talking to the owner, man, I'm definitely, trading back. I'm going to trade back, get more picks. I'm going to get that offensive tackle, that left tackle, that franchise left tackle. First thing I'm going to do. But I'm going to definitely go get a quarterback, if not in the later first round, in the second round. And, you mentioned Bo Nix. I think he's attainable in the second round, if not the end of the first round. Jaden Daniels, we'll see where he lands. I think, definitely within your top five. Once you get to pick five, Drake May's going to be gone and Caleb Williams is going to be gone. So I think I was looking at this kid out of Michigan. He's another option. You mentioned Penix. I think that the best option here is to trade back, get more picks, try to fill more areas, go get a left tackle, and go get a quarterback in the second round who can compete with Sam Howell. Because I'm still a believer in Sam Howell. Now, I will say this. We were talking about it before the broadcast, man. He's got things to work on. Obviously, he's got to learn how to throw the ball away a lot more. Stop trying to put the ball in tight windows. He's got to get the ball out quicker. I mean, Lord have mercy, man. I mean, on Sunday against San Fran, I mean, he needs to speed up his progressions. He takes too long to get the ball out, and I felt like the O-line really played well against San Francisco. Depending, they had a few times where he had pressure, but overall they played well. I believe they gave him enough time to make those reads and get the ball out, and he's too slow with the release. But I still think he has the intangibles. Obviously, the organization could go and aim high. You look at new ownership that's trying to fill the seats, because again, on Sundays there were more 49ers fans than there were Commanders fans. And I mean, it was so noticeable to the point where it might as well have been San Francisco, because I mean, I was one of the few people out there saying defense, getting loud and getting crazy, man. But it was quiet, man, and it just tells me that they've checked out. And I know that's a whole other conversation that we're definitely going to have this week coming up, man. But yeah, looking at quarterback, I think that's the best option. Now, like I said, they could aim high, go get Caleb Williams. I mean, he's got ties to the area. He's born in Washington, D.C. Drake May, North Carolina guy. They can still bring in. I mean, here's another option, and it's not the option I'm going to take, but they can still bring in a high-end quarterback and have him compete with Sam Howell, and he probably learn. I mean, Sam Howell's still going to be the backup in that situation, but I think it's just better. Go get a left tackle. Go get him some help on the O-line. Maybe we get some offensive weapons in this draft, because, like I said, we have a lot of draft picks. We have a lot of cap room, so you best believe that yes, defense needs a lot of the attention, but on the offensive side of the ball, maybe you go out and get a lead back, maybe within the draft or in free agency. Maybe, definitely the O-line. Maybe add another receiver. We don't know if Curtis Samuels is going to be here or not. Probably he's on his way out of D.C. So you got to replace a couple of receivers, man. De'Ami Brown is probably not going to be here next year. So you're looking at Dodson and McLaurin. So, and obviously we could go into free agency. And like I said, we have a lot of videos coming up in the offseason where we're going to talk a lot about free agency as opposed to the draft. But at quarterback, go get the left tackle. Go get a left tackle. And then if Bo Nix is there, I think that he's got first-round talent. Obviously, everybody's linked to Caleb Williams because he's a local guy. And he's had a good college career. Going from Oklahoma to USC, very productive in USC. But, if you look at NFL quarterbacks, man, it's not always guaranteed spending a top 5 pick on a quarterback. And that's the thing. I think that's the biggest thing is that, everybody wants to win now. Everybody wants to get better now. We finally got Dan Snyder's butt up out of here. And now we got a competent leadership, and everybody wants to win. But, it's a process, man. Because I can scroll down many lists of quarterbacks who were chosen in the second round and later. So don't think that because, we go out and we grab Caleb Williams that, all our sins are forgiven. No, we still have a lot of work to do. And I think the quarterback is not the topest priority, in my opinion, because we have a competent quarterback already. Now, he definitely needs work, but left tackle's got to be first, Greg. So that's where I'm at. I'm going to trade back. I'm going to get that left tackle, and then I'm going to grab Bo Nix from Oregon.
Yeah, I've been going back and forth with this in my head because obviously, at least for right now, if the season ended this weekend, we would have the second overall pick. Yeah. It's very hard to pass up a quarterback when you're picking second, right? And especially when you have two quarterbacks who possibly could go 1 and 2. Although we're looking at Chicago, and it looks like Justin Fields is playing so well that he may have changed Chicago's mind as far as picking another quarterback. And then Kyler Murray. Since he's come back, he's played well. They beat the Eagles. I mean, Brandon, the Cardinals beat the Eagles. And, I think that maybe the Cardinals might look at Kyler and be like, you know what? there is a reason why that we drafted you. You're still our guy.
Yeah.
So those are two teams that we thought would probably be in for Williams or May, and now possibly maybe not. So then that leaves you New England. You know New England's going to try to get a quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
And I was thinking about it today. It is very possible that they're going to try to jump ahead of us, maybe trade for that first overall pick with the Chicago Bears in order to get the quarterback they want, because they know if Washington is picking second, there's a good chance Washington is going to pick one of those quarterbacks. Now, I'm going back and forth on this because honestly, I'm with you. I still believe in Sam Howell, but he's definitely declined. You know, I am not going to make any bones about that whatsoever. He has definitely declined, and he's going to need some time to retune his brain to just, you know, get his timing back set. But to your point as well, I don't think it really matters who you have back there if they don't have the protection they need. Now, you can say, oh, well, look at what Brissett did. He came in, he was just fine. He was playing behind the same offensive line that Sam Howell played against, or behind. And yes, I'll give you that. But we have yet to see Jacoby play an entire game with this team. So sometimes it's very easy to come in. It's kind of a change-up, right? You don't know what to expect from that quarterback. So there's a different set of plays. Often I've noticed that Eric Bieniemy tends to call when Brissett's in there as opposed to when Sam Howell's in there. So, you know, I just feel like that no matter what, when it comes to being the starter week in and week out, the full game, that's when you start to see the cracks as far as this offensive line. Now, they played a lot better. They played better this past Sunday than what I thought that they were going to play. But I'm trying not to digress too much. It doesn't matter. We still need an offensive line. I think we still need that star left tackle. It's not just there. We need a right tackle. We could upgrade maybe that left guard position. I think Cosme has done pretty well to, you know, since we've moved him inside, he's done really well. So that's one position I would say that we're good at. Center, I mean, Tyler Larson is pretty good. He can't seem to stay healthy. That has been the knock on him. I think you need to go out and find you a good center. I would love to be able to see if we can find his replacement in the draft. Part of me wants to say you do like what you said. You trade back. You don't even have to trade back like deep into the first round. You can trade back a couple of, a couple of positions just to make sure that you're still able to get Alt or the other guy. Because I can never pronounce his name. But he's forever going to be the other guy to me until I learn the English language. But either one of those left tackles, I think you can still probably trade down and get one of those left tackles, and then you still got good draft picks that you can go and get a good quarterback. Because honestly, I think this year's draft is deep in quarterbacks. Yeah. And now I've just started really doing scouting reports and everything for these guys. I've only gotten to, of course, Williams and May. I want to get into more looking at Penix, of course, Daniels, guys like that I feel like are probably going to be going into the second round. Daniels may be a first rounder there. So, I mean, you know, there's opportunities, Brandon. I agree with you. There are opportunities. We don't necessarily have to get Williams or May. I also like the idea of bringing in a veteran quarterback. And I know that that's going to sound like such a, Dan Snyder thing. But I love the idea of bringing in a good veteran quarterback who could help Sam out. I think Brissett's helped Sam, but, if you had like a Russell Wilson, I'm sorry, Brissett, I think, is a fine quarterback, but Russell Wilson has been all the way to the top, and he has been lights out in his career. Being able to be behind somebody like that and learn from a guy like that. And I think he's been trashed in Denver by Sean Payton. That's a completely different video, probably for a completely different channel. But I just feel that if you got somebody like that, or maybe even brought Kirk Cousins back. I mean, who knows? Kirk Cousins may be coming out of Minnesota. Why would you not consider bringing him back if he wants to come back? Yeah. Obviously, it's going to be a much different situation for Kirk Cousins than it was when he left, and so he might possibly would want to come back to Washington. He's a very solid quarterback as well, and people love him. I mean, I could see that because you know what? We're not going to go to the Super Bowl next year. I hate to tell you that. So, why are you thinking that would push the team back even more? I don't think it does. I think it helps to develop what you already have. And I'm a very big believer into developing quarterbacks and developing your players as a whole. You draft your own, you develop your own, you turn them into solid players. You don't just keep burning through them, like a pack of cigarettes or something like that. I mean, I just don't really get it. The thing is that I've heard the comments from others that said that you keep picking elite guys, or the elite guys are in the first round. You keep picking the quarterback until you hit on one. There's no sense in keeping somebody around who's a fifth year or fifth round talent. And I'm like, but people had forgotten that Sam Howell was not a fifth round talent.
No,
he was actually a first round talent.
Yep, absolutely.
And he stayed in school one more year, and of course he lost a lot of his skilled guys around him, and so his numbers went down. And because of that, of course, his numbers as a whole went down, and his worth kind of went down as far as the draft. And honestly, people had him touted to at least go into the second round. Yeah. And so it was amazing that he did drop all the way into the fifth round. So he's not a fifth round talent. He's much better than that. And come on, folks. We have seen him play. I mean, for at least over half of the season, he's played really well, and he's made plays. He has corrected a lot of mistakes. But yes, he needs a little more time. I wouldn't give up on him just yet. I just don't understand this giving up on somebody after 1 year. He's very good talent. But if you are going to do that, at least I think this is a good draft to find another quarterback if you are going to draft a quarterback.
Yeah.
I feel like a politician, Brandon. I feel like I'm talking around circles, not giving a straight answer on this, because from what I've seen, man, I mean, Caleb Williams has a talent. He's exciting to watch. Yeah. I mean, he basically is Mahomes. I mean, he plays just like Mahomes. He makes those perfect passes when he is just, off kilter and not set. And a lot of times he's in the air and he's making these like beautiful long passes. And then you got Drake May, who was like, he was made in some laboratory. I mean, he is the prototypical quarterback. He's got the size. He has got the arm strength. He's got the athleticism. I mean, that dude, to me, I really like him, and it's very close. I would probably give it more to May if I had to draft one of those two guys, just because I feel like he's a little bit more NFL ready. Yeah. Whereas I've seen him read through his progressions. I've seen him be more of your traditional drop back passer who can also beat you running and doing the option as well. Whereas Williams, he is great with the off schedule type of plays, but I've also seen him in a lot of his plays. He makes scheduled plays off schedule because he starts kind of running around there when he still has good protection. Yeah. And so, it's kind of like, I'm not sure if he's going to be able to replicate that, especially right away in the NFL. I think it's going to be a rude awakening, honestly. So That's why I would probably go with May if I had to draft a quarterback. It's going to be interesting. It really is. The thing is, Washington has options, and that, folks, that is probably the biggest thing that you can take away from this video is the fact that Washington has options. And we shouldn't necessarily lock ourselves into it's got to be one of those quarterbacks in the first round, because who knows? Let's wait until the combine. Let's see what happens in the combine. Let's make sure that these guys are healthy going into the draft. Let's make sure that these guys have good character as well. Something that I don't think Ron Rivera has been able to really hit on with a lot of his draft picks is character. And yes, I got another video that's coming out about that as well. So, let's just wait until we get through with all of that before we start making our decisions. But it is fun doing these mocks right now, and we'll continue to do them. But, yeah, my answer, folks, it's not as straightforward as Brandon. I'm sorry. Because I love the idea of trading down and really picking up more picks and being able to get one of these quarterbacks maybe in the second round. I just really like both Caleb Williams and Drake May. I really like them a lot, and it would be hard to pass them up. I think the only thing would be is if I'm got my heart set on one of those guys and the Patriots jump ahead of us to draft him, then I may be willing to say, you know what, I'm not sure about this other guy. Let's trade back. So catch me back next week, guys. I'll have a completely different story on this. I'm sure I will, but yeah.
I mean, I'll say this, man. If they indeed do go up and grab Caleb Williams or a Drake May, I wouldn't be upset. But I'll say this: they have to spend some money. You got to, I definitely believe that the next couple of picks need to be offensive line, left tackle and center, like you said. But I mean, here's what people need to realize: that if we go out and get a Caleb Williams, a Drake May, they're not quick fixes. I mean, we have issues. I mean, defense is terrible. I mean, San Francisco, you ain't gifted. They are a really, really good team, but there was no resistance on the defensive side of the ball against San Francisco. And I know you covered it, man, but I got kind of throw my little perspective in there. But I mean, they did whatever they wanted to do. I mean, look, Cody Barton, man, I thought he was going to be a pretty good middle linebacker. No, go out there and spend some money. Go get a little linebacker.
Yes.
Stop trying to find leadership in the $5 DVD bin at Walmart. No, go spend some money. Go get a middle linebacker who can be the quarterback of the defense, who can call plays, who can be that leader. Go spend some money. Same thing with corner. Emmanuel Forrest, man, I'll say this: give him one more year, put him on the other side, and see how he does. But I'm to the point where between him and Jamin Davis, I know that we're talking about character issues. Jamin Davis, that's a whole nother conversation. But Mr. Leadfoot. But these last couple but these last couple drafts are just questionable. Emmanuel Forrest, man, like, come on, this guy, why not Christian Gonzalez? Well, I mean, what was Ron Rivera doing? I know we've talked a lot about this over the year, man, but it's like he was right there. Go get a corner. Go spend some money. Go get a lockdown corner. Go get a guy who you can say go out and guard their best receiver, because you don't have anybody on the roster right now who you can have any confidence is going to shut down anybody in this league. Let's be real. So they have holes, man, a lot of holes in this team. But here's the thing: we have the cap space, we have the draft picks, we have the leadership. Now all you have to do is go get a head coach, go get a defensive coordinator, and go get a GM and figure this thing out, and let's build this team back up, because we're not that far away as people think. I mean, we have a foundation. It's just we've got to make those final moves. Another receiver, Mike Evans, to me, would be the perfect receiver for this team, because he's tall. He can, he's going to take pressure off of McLaurin, and then they're going to let Dawson do whatever he wants to do in the slot. I think Jahan Dawson is best served as a slot receiver. His size, he can make those catches, but I mean, you need size in today's NFL, man. Especially a receiver, you need size. He's best served as a slot receiver. Build the O-line. You got to spend some money. So, like I said, I'm kind of off track a little bit, but don't think that because we go out here and get a top flight quarterback, that all of a sudden, we're going to start getting the buses ready for the championship parade. No, because we have so many holes, especially on the defensive side, that if you're indeed going to spend a top 5 pick on Caleb Williams and Drake May, then put him in a situation where he can succeed, which is O-line help, and a defense who can stop people from scoring on us. We have to give them a situation, because you best believe with this new ownership, they want a winning team sooner than later. And especially we got to fight FedEx back. Like I said, this is my last year, but I've been a season ticket holder for 3 years. I cannot recount one game where we outnumbered other teams' fans. The 49ers, they pretty much, I don't know if they went ahead and bought half the stadium, but it was pretty much a 49ers home game. And it was really let down as a fan, because I drove almost 2 hours to get there. And as you know, I wasn't feeling too hot the last couple of days, man. So it wasn't the easiest trip. So it's just, we have a lot of things to do with this team, and quarterback is exciting. I get it. It's kind of like, we finally get that guy, especially for, Skins/Commanders fans, because we haven't had a franchise quarterback since forever. And even when we were successful, we still didn't have a franchise quarterback. So,
that's right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I know a lot of us are we want to have that guy that we can have here for 15 years. And I think that we're on the road there. But the thing is, even if we get that guy in this year's draft, you have to make sure that you have everything in place for him to be successful, or it's just going to be another revolving door, another quarterback that's failed because we didn't give him enough support. So that's where I'm at. I would definitely trade back. I would definitely try to get as many deals as I can and hit as many hidden gems in his draft as we can to fit needs. But if indeed they go out and get Caleb Williams or Drake May, you've got to fill those holes, or all we're doing is the same thing we did last year and this year. So yeah. I just, if anything I can tell the fans out there is that you may not be happy with some of the moves that this organization is going to be making. And you may just flat out cuss and throw boots and stuff at your TV come draft time, because it's not a sure thing that we're going to get a quarterback if we stay within the top 2 picks. And I think that's the whole point. Again, the reason why that you hear me talking in circles on this is because there's not a sure thing. And I'm trying to keep my mind open to it all. And like you, Brandon, I won't be upset if we get one of those guys. It will be exciting. It would be nice to have the thoughts of, okay, well, we got one of the most important positions covered, hopefully. Yeah. But then again, it's been a crapshoot, right? We can talk about some of the first-round talent that has been successful, but we can also talk about so many quarterbacks that have come out of the first round in the past. I've been watching football for over 40 years, and I have seen a lot of first-round talent that, did not make it at all. I can tell you, going back into the 80s, Todd Marinovich, for instance, one of the top round quarterbacks, I believe he was drafted in the first round, played for the Raiders, and then, of course, got messed up in drugs and stuff like that. Of course, Ryan Leaf is another one. And then if you want to talk about our own, going back to 1994, and Heath Schuler. He was touted to be this great thing. He didn't last in the league no time. Then you got Jason Campbell, who I really wanted for him to be successful, but he had a so-so career in the NFL, but nothing that was a first-round talent, in those regards. RG3, one great year. The rest of it was horrible. Yeah.
So, I hear it, and I hear folks saying, well, you can't be afraid to draft quarterbacks in the first round just because you've missed on a few. But it's not just us. Look at all the other 32 teams that have missed on first-round talent. A lot of them have missed, and a few have made it. But more times than not, you're going to have players, especially quarterbacks, coming out who are highly touted as being superb athletes and all this stuff. But people tend to ignore the negatives of what that they need to do to really make it in the NFL, and sometimes it's a fine line between being a bust and being a champion. Yeah. And if that player can't figure that out, then they're going to see themselves on the sidelines, or they're going to be on the couch on Sunday watching the game along with us. So that's why I'm just saying that don't get too married and too caught up into Caleb Williams or Drake May. Just have your mind open, because this team has a lot of holes, and we're not going to fill all those holes in one season, and we're not going to fill them all within the draft, and we're not going to fill them all within free agency. We hope we can fill a lot of them in 1 year and see some improvement by 2025. And yes, I would like to know that our quarterback of the future is on the roster by that point. And maybe it is Sam Howell. And if it is, why would we be upset over that? We just had to reprogram him and he's good. So don't be upset if it does turn out to be Sam Howell. We know he does have the ability. He really does. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with that, but I mean, go back and watch some of their earlier games. He has talent. He has talent, and I think that he can still succeed, but he just needs some help. So anyway, that's all I got, Brandon. I don't know if you have any more, but as you can tell, when it comes to quarterbacks, drafting, dude, we're probably going to have some long videos ahead of us, because these are very interesting topics, and we haven't really had a lot of good things to talk about with this franchise. So after one more week, we're going to be champions of the off season. We're going to be able to come out with such great content for you guys, because I have to say, I think we love the off season better than we like the regular season. So, maybe that will come to an end very soon. Very soon. So, Brandon, you got anything else for us, buddy?
Nah, man, I am good, man. Like I said, I'm like you. I'm excited about the off season. Now, I want to do a shout out, man. Definitely a shout out to you, Greg. Holding everything down, man. You hold it down. You are 90% of the brain power of the channel, man. I mean, NBA is going on, man. As you guys know, I'm covering NBA too. It's a long year, man. So on the Wizard side, so definitely appreciate you, man, holding everything down, and like I said, appreciate you, man, because it's been fun, man. So this is the first day of the new year, and I'm very excited in working with you going forward, man. So like I said, definitely appreciate you, man.
Well, shout out to you as well, because I was at a point, folks. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to continue on with this channel, because it seemed like it was dying, and really wanted to stay active in YouTube, and I just really like doing this, even if it's only 2 people watching it, or if it's 2,000 people or 200,000. And, but Brandon came along and he said, I think you need a good co-host. And so, I brought Brandon on, and Brandon's been a godsend. So it's been nice having somebody to bounce ideas off, and someone who's actually talking back. So while I do some solo videos here and there to just, at times, if I've got some time, I'm going to do them. But it is a lot easier doing videos when you have somebody who is conversing with you, and makes it a lot more interesting. So, Brandon, I appreciate you as well. Shout out to you. And 2024, man, I see some big things ahead for the Maniacs.
Absolutely, man. Ready to roll.
Yeah. All right, folks. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like, give it a share, leave us a comment, let us know how we did. And again, please subscribe if you haven't already. When you do, hit that notification bell so you will never miss a video release. We also have channel memberships. I'll try to start pushing those a little bit more. They're only $2.99. I don't know. I haven't really been pushing them yet, but folks, please consider, if you really want to support this channel, become a member, become a Maniac, folks. We're gonna have a good 2024 ahead of us with this channel, and we want you to come along with us. So that said, we will see you in the next one. Take care, everybody.
See you, everybody.